I'm Richard Taylor, and a couple of days ago, we did the video that showed several Goldsboro police officers harassing, assaulting, brutalizing a young black man, which culminated with him being slammed to the ground, face first in handcuffs. Today, we've learned that the Goldsboro police is conducting an internal investigation into this matter. Now, if you haven't seen the video, I'm going to show you a part of that video. But initially, and yesterday, the Goldsboro Police Office released a statement saying that it justified, the officers' actions were justified. And you're going to see the video when you tell me if those officers were justified. But here is that statement that was released by the Goldsboro Police Department, which also caused a little more outraged than the actual footage that circulated on Facebook. Now, the footage got so many views and so much recognition that WRAL News reached out to myself, and they tried to do an interview with the people who took the video, and they declined, but WRAL News did do the story, and that is what I think made Goldsboro Police Department come out with this blanket statement justifying their actions. The statement reads, "The Goldsboro Police Department is aware of a video circulating on social media regarding a recent arrest. We understand public concerns and want to provide context to ensure accurate information is shared. Officers responded to a call involving an individual who was trespassing and had previously threatened employees of the apartment complex. During the encounter, the individual resisted and was found to be in possession of a concealed weapon. Officers took necessary actions to secure the individual and prevent further harm to themselves. Unfortunately, the individual sustained an injury during the arrest and received medical attention in accordance with department protocol. The individual has been charged with second-degree trespass, assault on law enforcement officer, carrying a concealed weapon, resisting arrest, and damage to property." That's about 5 charges. It is important to note that the video circulating does not depict the entire encounter, including the 4-minute struggle with officers prior to the moment shown. As with any use of force incident, this matter is being reviewed to ensure compliance with department policies and procedures. The safety of the public and our officers remains our highest priority. And that is the statement that they put out yesterday, pretty much justifying their actions. However, this news article today informs us that the police are now conducting their internal investigation. But this news article reads as thus: internal investigation underway after man injured during arrest. And that is the man you see, Tyleek Carter. Goldsboro police said they are doing an internal investigation after a man was injured during an arrest. Police say they were called to the 600 block of Day Circle around 4:35 on Tuesday after a report of someone trespassing and threatening employees at the apartment complex. Police say, once again, they say that the man, 27-year-old Tyleek Carter, resisted arrest and was injured. Now, this is what they say, leading him to be treated and released from Wayne UNC Health Care. Police also say the man had a concealed weapon. On Wednesday, the police say they became aware of the social media video. Now, Wednesday is yesterday, and said they understand public concerns and want to provide context. During the encounter, the individual resisted and was found to be in possession of a concealed weapon, police said in a statement. Officers took necessary actions to secure the individual and prevent further harm to themselves. Unfortunately, the individual sustained an injury during the arrest and received medical attention in accordance with department protocol. It's important to note that the video circulating does not depict the entire encounter, including a 4-minute struggle with officers prior to the moment shown. Carter was charged with second-degree trespass, blah, blah, blah. But the last part, the small sentence says, Goldsboro police say they are doing an internal investigation of the arrest and have placed the primary arresting officer on administrative duty, which means he is going to be on desk duty, getting paid a little bit more, or, paid for doing less work. But the fact that they charged the young man is a blanket attempt for them to take the pressure off what they did to the man. And from my understanding, after talking with his mother today, I did speak with his mother today, and she told me that after he left the hospital, they let him go home. Now, mind you, when he left the hospital, he had a dislocated shoulder and cracked ribs, probably among some other things. Mind you, the man is only 110 pounds. And what did they come back and arrest him for if they let him go home? They knew that when this video got out, they had to justify it by painting him as a criminal. What was he doing? Resisting arrest, trespass. First of all, let's say he was trespassing. In another video that you've seen on this channel, you see him clearly walking off the property. They said, look, they said, get off the property. I'm leaving the property. Why are y'all following me? Why are y'all harassing me? And then at that point, the police jumped on him, and then they charged him with resisting arrest. None of those times was he resisting arrest, except when he was responding to them banging his head on the car, trying to sweep his leg out from under him, kicking him, standing on him, stopping on him in that prior 4-minute interaction, which you can see on the channel from last night. And so all of those charges are their despicable, evil attempt to paint him as someone who needed to be slammed on the ground. Now, if you haven't seen the video, I'm going to play the video for you so you can make your own assertions as well.
They doing a moves. This nigga had a knife in his pocket with the fuck. Why y'all harassing me? Why y'all harassing me? Why y'all harassing me? They cannot handle that, man. Why y'all? They can't handle it. They slamming this man up against the car, pulling his hair, smacking him in his face. I ain't want to put you in the camera.
You see how they did that shit?
Man, they smacked his head into the window, and he smacked him in the face and snatched somebody's head.
What are you doing? It's in my left pocket.
Shit, dude, them three can't handle him. You see what he was doing with them?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Y'all need to get out of the parking lot, but they run one of y'all kids over. God, it's not that serious.
They over there laughing.
Y'all about to run the kids over. Almost did.
He told her to leave. That's her son.
He told me I don't care, back up.
And let's rewind that real quick, because people say that he was resisting. He was not resisting at the time that he was slammed. Let's rewind it just a little bit. The overzealous police officer comes up.
He told me I don't care, back up.
And so that is the situation that caused them to put the officer under internal investigation. But the word internal investigation we have to be careful about, because an internal investigation is just that, an internal investigation. That means the Goldsboro Police Department is going to investigate themselves. And so there's no outside entity that is involved in ensuring that the proper conduct was followed, proper protocols were used, so on and so forth. Now, an external investigation is when somebody outside of outside of the diaspora of the Goldsboro police officer is involved in looking on them from the outside in. And so with this internal investigation, we must ask ourselves, what is going to become of? Are they really going to punish this officer after initially saying that it was justified, but only after the public outrage? Then they're going to say, well, yeah, we're going to place him on administrative leave and we're going to investigate this situation. So, the jury is still out on what will happen, but I do want the names of that officer released because they're saying the primary arresting officer. And if you know, yesterday, this police report has several arresting officers. One is Pedro Paxton. He's the quote unquote victim of the assault. And, I think during that whole video, our brother was handcuffed. So he did not have the capability of assaulting anyone. And lastly, and I might share a couple of these calls with you. I spoke with the mother of the young man, and now they are saying that the apartment complex, after yesterday, served her with 30-day eviction notices. And citing that, because he was not supposed to be on the property and could be tied to her, that makes her responsible for him being there. Now, mind you, the man is 26. And as I told the lady, and I'm going to play those calls for you tomorrow and to give you some in-depth context, there's no way that this lady has any way to control this man from coming out there if he chooses to. She should not be held accountable for his action. So that is an issue that we probably want to further have to address if she does not win it on appeal. And so, but the thing that worries me about this is, once again, the retraction, the quick, statement by them. And then in a pitiful attempt, let me show you this other post. In a pitiful attempt to save face, the Goldsboro Police Office released this Facebook post. And it looks like the same officers was out there harassing the man. They released this Facebook post right here. They say, we may be a couple of days late to post this picture. However, it is never too late to recognize and thank our officers for their outstanding work, even in 20-degree weather. K9 Officer Brady and Officer Halsey assisting a citizen with changing a tire, right? And somebody, said in the comments, they must have been white, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't, I'm saying, hey, I don't know. But what I do know is they didn't release the name of that officer who was caught on tape slamming that young man. And so that's another piss poor attempt of them to trying to paint themselves in a better light. And I made a comment on Facebook. I made a post on Facebook that was removed in about an hour. So I'm going to say it right here, right now, because under that Goldsboro police officer statement, there was a lot of comments, as you saw, and many of the comments that were justifying the officers were of white people. Let's be honest. And many of the comments who were outraged were the comments of black people. And so I just made a post. I said, look, I gotta say it. For all of you white people who were justifying the officers of the actions of those cowardly officers in that video, just go head up to the attic, open up that dusty trunk, and pull out your granddaddy's old Grand Imperial Wizard KKK hat and robe, and go ahead and come on out of the closet that you've been hiding in. And there was a couple of blacks also who were justifying the action. So I said, for all the black people who are justifying those actions, go head up to your attic and pull out your granddaddy old overalls and start dancing the jig and stepping and fetching it. And I said something else, and yes, something else in it, because a blind man can see that that was wrong in that video. And probably like after an hour that someone reported the post and it went against community standards and it was removed. So I had to say it here again. But, you know, people really show their true colors. No one can sit there and justify that by no means. And the fact that, you know, they are trying to criminalize the young man by giving him all sorts of trumped up charges, no pun intended, is further, you know, example of, you know, their evil. And once again, I have reached out to the police department. They have not talked to me, but release that officer's name. So he can, you know, so he can be, and if anybody knows the officer's name, 919-587-7782, so he can be put under much scrutiny as possible, because there was no way he should have came in after the man attempted to sweep the man's leg. The man is fighting to stay on his feet, which is a natural God-given reaction. And then you pick him up and slam him to the concrete, dislocating his shoulder, breaking his ribs, and even more. And so I'm glad that they are quote unquote investigating this, but I think this is an outside investigation that need to be ensued. So we might have to go ahead and do a phone blitz to the FBI and get together with all of these cases, you know, that we've had throughout the years, and call for an FBI investigation of the Wayne County Goldsboro Police Department. They've already did a little mini sweep of the sheriff department, but now it may be the Goldsboro Police Department's turn to be under a microscope. Y'all let me know what y'all think. 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.